Seiko SNR045J1, SBDB039, Antarctica. In the harsh, overworldly environment of Antarctica, only moss thrives. That and Seiko watches. More specifically, the Seiko SBDB039 Antarctica. Reference SNR045J1 for the global markets. The watch is part of Seiko's LX Prospex range, which is a luxury sport range designed for extreme performance. Antarctica has always been significant to Seiko. The first dive watch the company ever made was for a scientific research expedition there back in 1966. In 1968, Seiko tested its diver's watch in the harsh environments of the underwater lakes in Antarctica, where scientists were to discover the underwater moss forest, fondly known as Kokobozu. Koke equals moss. Bozu equals boy. The Seiko dive watch has since grown to become the go-to dive watch of choice for professional divers, athletes, explorers, and of course, collectors. Overview. This year in 2020, Seiko is celebrating its rich Antarctic heritage by revisiting the definitive moment in 1968 when the diver's watch was first tested. To do that, it is releasing Seiko Prospex SNR045J1 LX Antarctica. As you may know, Prospex is short for Professional Specifications, a family of watches designed for top performance even in harsh environments. The LX isn't short for luxury, but rather stands for lux, the Latin word for light. It is a testimony to the sharp contrast incorporated in this breathtaking timepiece. Talking of luxury, the watch borrows heavily in design philosophy from the 2018 Seiko 1968 Diver's Watch Recreation Limited Edition, reference SLA025. It is a collector's piece that won the year's Sports Watch Grand Prix, the Hellongre de Genevieve Prize. Right off the bat, you have a high expectation for this watch, just as I did. I'm glad to report that it doesn't disappoint, with high-end design features, impeccable performance, and price tag to match. As if that were not enough to work up a huge appetite, hear this. The Seiko SNR045J1 is a limited edition release, and only 500 will be available worldwide. Welcome to this comprehensive review of the Seiko Prospex LX Antarctica. References SNR045J1, SBDB039. We will look at the first impressions, aesthetics, design features, and take a look under the hood, and finally a verdict with its hits and misses. First impressions. This watch is striking, no doubt about it. Some would say that it's unconventional, but that is exactly why it stands out. For one, the deep green dial and sporty edge are unmistakable. The story behind the green is as fascinating as the watch itself, so I'll tell you in a few words. During the 1968 expedition of Antarctica's Skavern-Forland region, Japanese researchers came across a mysterious underwater forest made up of moss, algae, and bacteria on the bottom of a lake. The green moss takes centuries to grow, managing only 1 millimeter a year. It is also the only living plant life in the harsh lakebed environment, a truly magnificent feat. Thus, the green is for the Antarctic moss. The sporty edge is another story altogether, one related to Ferraris and Maseratis. The LX range was designed by Ken Okiyama of Okiyama Design, the same guy who designed the Ferrari Enzo, Maserati Quadruport 5, Maserati Birdcage, Ferrari California, and countless other renowned models. I know I'm gushing, so let's go to the specifics. The SNR045J1 features the same 44.8mm titanium case as its siblings in the LX line and titanium diver strap. Silver block indices, a unidirectional diver's bezel, and a crown at 4 o'clock, completing the striking look of the watch. One word to describe the watch: unforgettable. It is chunky, yes, but so are most divers' watches from Seiko. It has even earned the moniker ashtray. It's a uniquely beautiful watch from a purely aesthetic standpoint, fits snugly on the wrist, and is as comfortable 300 meters underwater as on a busy LA street. Design features. Specifications. Name: Seiko Antarctica, Prospex LX SBDB039, SNR045J1. Style: high-performance upscale rendition of the 1968 Seiko divers with design inspiration from the 2018 Seiko SLA025. Dimensions: 44.8 millimeters diameter, 15.7 millimeters thick. Complications: date window, time-lapse diver's bezel, stop second-hand function, hacking. Caliber: 5R65 automatic spring drive movement, 30 joules. High beat 28,800 VPM frequency. Hand winding, 70+ hour power reserve. Accuracy: +15 -15 seconds a day, between -10 degrees and 60 degrees Celsius. Watch face: green dial, silvery straight sword hands, silvery block and circular indices, and power reserve indicator, all with LumaBrite. Case: titanium with Zaratsu polishing. Strap: titanium with Zaratsu polishing. Bezel: green ceramic unidirectional diver's bezel. Crystal: sapphire glass. Crown: screw-down crown. Water resistance: 300 meters. Availability: limited edition of 500 pieces to be released in August 2020. Pricing: about $6,000. Features: movement. At the heart of the Seiko SNR045J1 is the 5R65 smooth spring drive movement, one of the world's most innovative developments in watchmaking. The spring drive is fully mechanical and derives its power from a hand-wound spring, but is regulated by a quartz crystal, which gives it the accuracy and the reliability of an electronic watch. With a long and colorful history in many Seiko watches, including Grand Seikos, the spring drive movement offers superior performance in the worst conditions known to man and averages about 15-second accuracy a day, give or take. Fully wound, its power reserve lasts more than 70 hours, thanks to its automatic energy conservation feature. It also has a slipping mechanism to protect it from overwinding, and its complications include date and second hacking. Dial and hands. The bright green dial gives off a mysterious air, inspired as they are by underwater moss forests of Antarctic lakes. A closer look reveals a unique layered texture reminiscent of the underwater forest pattern that inspired this watch design. Large silver indices designed for maximum visibility interrupt the watch face. As mentioned, the watch draws heavily from the 2018 SLA029. This includes circular indices at 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10, and 11 o'clock positions. A Cyclops date window at 3 o'clock. Block indices at 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock. And a large double index with a downward arrow shape at 12 o'clock. Oversized indices demand oversized hands, and that is what you get with this watch. The sword-shaped hour and minute hands and the cathedral-type second hand tell the time and are all designed to be heavily visible, even in the poor light conditions found underwater. The dial indices and hands are brushed liberally with Seiko's legendary LumaBrite fluorescent luminous paint that glows far longer than many others. You will also find a discrete power reserve indicator between 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock, as well as the usual lettering including an X for Prospex and Spring Drive Professional 300 meters just above 6 o'clock. Crystal, bezel, and crown. A sapphire crystal with an inward curve adorns the front of the watch, giving it superior strength and superb scratch resistance. A green ceramic bezel surrounds it and has a unidirectional motion for time-lapse functionality. It is colored green, just like the dial, and you will also note that it is aggressively notched on its outer surface to allow for easier grip with wet hands. The notched screw-down crown sits smugly at 4 o'clock, a unique feature of early divers' watches that Seiko has faithfully recreated on this model. It is highly watertight and utilizes advanced gaskets to live up to the watch's 300 meters, 984 feet water resistance. Case, strap, and clasp. I was delighted to learn that this watch features an all-titanium case and strap, which means superior strength, corrosion resistance, and unrivaled beauty. Nothing wrong with stainless steel, but titanium is the only thing that works flawlessly with high-performance divers' watches. The strap is also 100% titanium, painstakingly crafted to ensure butter-smooth operation, even in saltwater environments. It remains reassuringly snug on the wrist, even in highly active situations, thanks to a three-fold clasp. It also has a secure lock, with a push-button release mechanism and diving extension to complete the ensemble, making for a very reliable and beautiful casing. The case and strap all benefit from extra protection thanks to Seiko's proprietary treatment technique that deposits an extra hard anti-reflective coating. The coating is made up of clear titanium compounds that protect the metal below from oxidation, corrosion, and scratches. The IA coating is one reason why the watches age so well. The icing on the case is the Zaratsu polishing technique used on the watch. The style invokes stark contrast on the case and strap surfaces, and even on the watch hands. It scatters light in thousands of ways and patterns to make it much more brilliant, almost like a diamond. Zaratsu polishing is usually only found in top-shelf Grand Seikos. Verdict: hits and misses. The Seiko Prospex LX SNR045J1 Antarctica is a watch to have, no doubt about it. As is the manner of Seiko, this is much more watch than the price tag warrants. In terms of performance and design, the 5R35 spring drive movement is top-notch, reliable, and never needs a battery replacement. As for aesthetics, the chunky ashtray look is by no means a deal-breaker. The watch remains faithful to its 1968 predecessor while managing to reflect the award-winning design features of the 2018 SLA029. A striking watch face, highly visible dial and hands, titanium cover and casing. These all make for a premium luxury watch. Apart from the ever-present X lettering that bugs me to no end, the only thing that bothers me about this watch is that only 500 will be available. There is going to be a mad rush for this watch when it comes out in August of 2020. I would advise that you get one by all means. Despite the $6,000 plus price tag, you will not regret it.